Tie her tighter, and wheel her out before the guests see what she found. The billionaire's fiancée, Bianca Sterling, fastened black Maid Yvette Cole to a silver service cart and covered her mouth with a napkin. Beside them stood a sealed wooden crate stamped Sterling Children's Foundation, Medical Donations. She broke into private property, Bianca announced as security arrived. This maid was trying to steal from sick children. Then billionaire Dominic Sterling entered the mansion's delivery hall. His eyes moved from Yvette's restrained hands to the bruises on her wrists. Untie her. Now. Bianca stepped in front of the crate. Dominic, don't open that. It contains confidential donations. Yvette shook her head desperately. Dominic broke the seal. There were no medical supplies inside. The crate contained counterfeit medicine, forged customs documents, and passports belonging to foundation workers who had suddenly disappeared. Then Dominic found a hidden phone still recording. Bianca's voice played through the speaker. Once the shipment leaves tonight, blame the maid, and make sure she can never testify. But the second voice belonged to the man currently standing behind Dominic with the only key to the loading dock. Before we continue, like the video, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from, and tell us, should Dominic confront Bianca immediately or let the shipment lead him to her entire operation? 3 weeks earlier, Sterling House was preparing for the annual Hope Without Borders benefit. The event financed pediatric clinics in rural communities where families often traveled hours for basic medicine. Dominic Sterling's late mother had created the foundation after losing a younger brother to an untreated infection. Since taking over Sterling Global Logistics, Dominic had expanded her work by using his cargo network to deliver medical supplies at cost. This year, the foundation planned its largest shipment yet: antibiotics, inhalers, surgical kits, and portable refrigeration units for 6 clinics along the Caribbean coast. Yvette Cole had worked at Sterling House for almost 7 years. At 40, she was the senior maid responsible for private rooms, event preparation, and secure deliveries. Most visitors noticed only her black and white uniform and calm manner. They did not know she had once worked in pharmaceutical warehouse compliance, checking batch numbers, storage temperatures, customs seals, and expiration records. She left after her mother developed severe arthritis and needed daily support. The position at Sterling House offered stable hours and dependable income. Dominic's mother, Evelyn Sterling, had hired her personally. People trust labels too easily, Evelyn once told her. A box can say medicine and still carry harm. Always check what powerful people are rushing to move. Yvette remembered that sentence when a sealed wooden crate arrived 4 days before the benefit. Large blue letters identified it as a Sterling Children's Foundation medical shipment, but it was not listed on the delivery schedule. Yvette stopped the porters before they carried it into the loading hall. Where is the receiving form? The driver handed her a folded document bearing the foundation logo, Dominic's approval, and a customs release number. The logo looked correct. The approval did not. Dominic always signed foundation documents in dark blue ink. This signature was black and slightly too narrow. Yvette checked the customs number on her tablet. It belonged to restaurant equipment cleared 6 months earlier. This crate cannot enter secure storage. We were told it had executive clearance, the driver said. By whom? Before he answered, Bianca Sterling entered through the service doors. She was not yet married to Dominic, but she had already begun using his surname publicly. Wearing a cream suit and high heels, she looked irritated rather than surprised. Why is the delivery still here? The customs record is wrong, Yvette replied. Bianca took the form. Someone probably reused a reference. Medical cargo cannot reuse customs references. You are household staff, Yvette. You do not manage international shipping. I know enough not to receive an unverified crate. Bianca's expression hardened. A man's voice sounded behind them. What is the delay? Gideon Price, Dominic's director of special logistics, entered carrying a silver access key. He had worked with Sterling Global for 12 years and managed sensitive foundation shipments whenever Dominic traveled. This is a replacement shipment, he said. The original cargo was damaged. Where is the incident report? Yvette asked. It will be filed later. Then the crate can be received later. Gideon's smile disappeared. Yvette is careful. That is usually useful. Usually. The word carried a warning. He produced a second authorization form and unlocked the loading hall himself. Yvette did not move aside. I need to inspect the seal. That seal cannot be broken before customs presentation. This crate is already inside the country. Dominic entered before the argument could continue. At 42, he controlled one of the country's largest private shipping networks, but he preferred direct answers to polished explanations. What happened? Bianca touched his arm. Yvette is delaying medical supplies over paperwork. The customs number is invalid, Yvette said. And the signature under your name does not match yours. Dominic studied the form. I did not sign this. Gideon answered calmly. Your digital approval was transferred from the damaged shipment. Then why is it handwritten? No one replied. Dominic turned to Yvette. Open the outer inspection panel. Do not break the customs seal. Bianca's fingers tightened around his sleeve. The donors arrive in 4 days. Must every delivery become an investigation? When someone uses my name, yes. Yvette removed 4 screws from the side panel. Cold air escaped, though the crate's refrigeration unit was not running. She shone a light inside. Rows of white cartons filled the nearest section. The labels named expensive pediatric antibiotics. Yvette removed 1 box. The batch number had uneven spacing. Inside were plain glass vials with no manufacturer marks. These are not approved medications. Bianca immediately looked at Gideon. Training samples, he said. Then why are they labeled for clinic use? Dominic took the vial. What exactly is in this? I'll send it to the lab, Gideon said. No. An outside lab. For the first time, Gideon looked unsettled. Dominic ordered the crate sealed inside the loading hall until testing was complete. That evening, Yvette returned to verify its temperature log. The security camera above the door had been turned toward the wall. The outer seal remained intact, but scrape marks crossed the floor behind the crate. Someone had moved it. Yvette opened the inspection panel again. The counterfeit medicine was gone. Real surgical kits now filled the front section. Someone had switched the contents after Dominic's inspection. She reached deeper and found a torn passport photograph caught between 2 boards. The woman wore a Sterling Foundation warehouse badge. Yvette recognized her. Mara Ellis had worked in the Foundation's customs office until vanishing from the schedule 6 weeks earlier. Staff had been told she resigned without notice. Yvette examined the inner wall and discovered a hidden compartment behind the medical cartons. Inside were 3 employee passports, copied Foundation IDs, forged customs papers, and a small phone wrapped in plastic. The phone was still recording. Yvette pressed playback. Bianca's voice came first. Once the shipment leaves tonight, blame the maid. She already opened the crate. Then Gideon replied, and if Yvette finds the passports? Bianca's answer was cold. Tie her to the service cart, wheel her into the loading hall, and make sure she cannot testify. A key turned in the door behind Yvette. The lights went out. Gideon's voice came through the darkness. You should have let the crate pass. Gideon's voice moved closer through the dark loading hall. You should have let the crate pass. Yvette slid the recording phone into the hidden pocket beneath her apron and kept one hand against the wooden crate. Where are Mara Ellis and the other workers whose passports are inside this compartment? A flashlight snapped on. Gideon stood 6 feet away with 2 warehouse guards. Bianca waited near the locked door, still wearing the silk dress chosen for the donor rehearsal. Mara asked too many questions, Bianca said. Just like you. Did she resign? She signed a departure agreement. Without her passport. Bianca's expression hardened. You do not understand international staffing. I understand confiscated documents. Gideon held out his hand. Give me the phone. Yvette stayed still. You switched the counterfeit medicine after Dominic inspected the crate. You planned to move it tonight under the Foundation's seal. One guard grabbed her arm. She twisted away, but the second caught her from behind. The phone slipped from her pocket and struck the floor. Bianca reached it first. The recording light remained active. She stopped it, deleted the visible file, then crushed the screen beneath her heel. No evidence, she said. Yvette looked toward the crate. The phone had displayed a cloud sync icon before playback began. A copy might already exist somewhere else. She said nothing. Gideon removed the passports from the hidden compartment. Load the crate onto the Westgate truck, he ordered. And Yvette? Bianca asked. Gideon looked at a silver service cart beside the catering shelves. Make the accusation believable. The guards forced Yvette's wrists against the cart and tied them with decorative ribbon. Bianca covered her mouth with a folded napkin and placed counterfeit medicine boxes beneath the lower shelf. When security finds you, Bianca said, you will look like an employee caught stealing from sick children. She took Yvette's staff badge and swiped it across the secure storage reader. The system recorded. Yvette Cole, medical cargo access approved. Then Bianca returned the badge to Yvette's apron. The cart rolled through the service corridor while kitchen employees prepared the benefit. Most assumed Yvette was moving supplies beneath the linen draped around her. She struck one heel against the lower shelf. 3 short knocks. 2 long. 3 short. It was an emergency rhythm Evelyn Sterling had taught the household years earlier. A young kitchen assistant named Lena heard it. She followed the cart at a distance. At the loading hall, Gideon's men lifted the wooden crate onto an unmarked truck. The vehicle displayed the Sterling Foundation logo, but a temporary diplomatic permit covered its real plate. Once the guard stepped away, Lena slipped behind folded tables and saw Yvette tied to the cart. Yvette shook her head before Lena could cry out. Lena loosened the napkin. Call Mr. Sterling, Yvette whispered. Your phone is broken. Use the kitchen landline. Tell him the Westgate, the medical crate, and Mara Ellis. Lena reached for the ribbon. No. If they see me free, they move the shipment early. But they may take you too. Go. Lena hurried back toward the kitchen. Bianca noticed the service door closing. Who was that? One guard checked the corridor. No one. Bianca saw Yvette's loosened gag and pulled it tight again. Upstairs, Dominic was meeting laboratory representatives when the kitchen landline reached his private office. Lena spoke quickly. Mr. Sterling, Yvette is tied to a service cart in the West Loading Hall. Miss Bianca and Mr. Price are moving the medical crate. Yvette said to ask about Mara Ellis. Dominic stood. Lock yourself inside the kitchen office. He called the outside laboratory. The technician reported that the vial Yvette found contained diluted veterinary antibiotics mixed with inactive filler. Children could receive useless treatment while believing they had been properly medicated. Dominic contacted Federal Customs investigators and ordered the estate gate sealed. The security system rejected his command. Gideon had replaced his access. Dominic took the private staircase toward the loading hall. At the west dock, the truck engine started. Bianca watched the security monitor. Dominic left his office. Gideon answered through her earpiece. Then move Yvette into the truck. 2 guards released the cart's brake. Yvette kicked the lower shelf sideways, jamming one wheel against the dock rail. A guard pulled harder. The ribbon cut into her wrists. Then the loading hall doors opened. Dominic entered. His eyes moved from Yvette's bound hands to Bianca standing beside the truck. Untie her. Bianca stepped in front of the crate. She broke into Foundation cargo and stole restricted medicine. Then why is she tied to a service cart? She became violent. Yvette shook her head and struck the metal frame twice. Dominic noticed the counterfeit cartons beneath her. He picked one up and compared its batch number with the laboratory message. These are the fake antibiotics. Bianca's confidence weakened. She planted them. Dominic turned toward the truck. Open the crate. Gideon appeared holding the silver loading key. That cargo is under customs protection. Open it. Federal rules prohibit breaking the seal. Dominic looked at the false diplomatic permit. Then the investigators outside the East Gate can explain those rules. The driver panicked and accelerated. The truck struck the half-closed gate and stalled. Bianca grabbed Yvette's cart and shoved it toward the loading ramp. The wheels rolled fast. At the bottom waited the truck's open cargo lift, descending toward the concrete. Dominic lunged for the cart. Before he reached it, Gideon pressed the dock control switch. The platform dropped with Yvette still tied above it, and the sealed crate rolling directly behind her. Cold vapor rolled across the loading hall as the timer dropped from 10 minutes. Dominic pulled Bianca's remote from her hand, but the screen displayed only one command. Lockdown complete. What happens when the timer reaches 0? He demanded. Bianca backed toward the wall. Gideon's voice answered through the container speakers. The refrigeration system seals the room and floods it with industrial coolant. By the time anyone opens those doors, the evidence, and everyone beside it, will be frozen. Yvette knelt beside the damaged crate and examined the exposed cables. This unit was modified, she said. The coolant line runs through the container, not the building. Can you stop it? Not from here. The manual valve is inside. Dominic looked at the open compartment releasing white vapor. I'll go. You won't recognize the pressure controls. I'm the only person here who worked with pharmaceutical refrigeration. The timer showed 8 minutes. Yvette climbed into the broken container. Dominic followed before she could object. Behind the counterfeit medicine boxes, they found 3 coolant cylinders connected to a central valve. Yvette turned the red handle. It would not move. Gideon welded it. Dominic used a steel shelf bracket as a lever. Together, they forced the handle halfway closed. The vapor slowed, but the timer continued. Outside, Bianca crawled toward the emergency control panel. A customs officer caught her and pulled the remote away. This remote transmitted to Warehouse 17 3 minutes ago. A camera feed appeared on the laptop. Mara Ellis and 4 other Foundation employees were locked inside a refrigerated warehouse cage. Gideon stood beside them, preparing to destroy the records before escaping. The timer reached 5 minutes. Yvette noticed a second cable running beneath the coolant cylinders. This is not only controlling refrigeration, she said. It is powering an incendiary charge. Dominic looked toward the loading hall, where medicine, passports, and financial records covered the floor. He planned to burn everything. Yvette followed the cable to a metal box beneath the container. 3 wires entered it. 1 black, 1 yellow, 1 blue. She remembered the inspection form attached to the crate. Gideon had marked the refrigeration circuit in blue. She pulled the blue wire. The timer stopped at 2 minutes and 12 seconds. The shutters rose. Agents arrested Bianca while Dominic gave investigators the location of Warehouse 17. Harbor police entered through a service tunnel beyond the communications blackout. Gideon tried to escape in a customs van, but Mara had secretly removed its ignition relay. Officers found him stranded beside the loading gate with forged passports and a weapon. Mara and the other workers were rescued before midnight. Their testimony revealed that Gideon had confiscated their passports after they discovered counterfeit medicine entering the Foundation's supply chain. He forced them to alter shipping records while Bianca used donor events to create legitimate paperwork for illegal cargo. The investigation uncovered stolen funds, currency laundering, document fraud, unlawful confinement, and counterfeit medicine distribution. Gideon received a lengthy federal prison sentence. Bianca was convicted of conspiracy, assault, evidence tampering, trafficking-related offenses, and attempting to kill witnesses. Every clinic received replacement medicine from verified manufacturers before the delivery deadline. Dominic established independent inspections for every Foundation shipment and created a protected reporting system no executive could override. He offered Yvette a senior compliance position at Sterling Global. She accepted on one condition. No shipment carries your family name unless someone without your family name has authority to stop it. Dominic agreed. Months later, the sealed wooden crate was displayed inside the Foundation's new training center. Its broken side revealed the hidden compartment where the passports and recording phone had been found. A plaque beneath it read, "Truth is often hidden behind the label people are afraid to question." At the opening ceremony, Dominic found Yvette inspecting a box of antibiotics. He smiled, still checking every seal, especially the expensive ones. Bianca had tied a black maid to a service cart because she believed a uniform made Yvette invisible. But when Dominic opened the sealed crate, he did not find a thief. He found the woman who exposed an entire criminal operation, saved missing workers, and protected thousands of children from medicine that could never have healed them.